How's it going, guys? It's your boy Mike from Seattle, and I'm here with my good friend Dion from the YouTube channel Dion Talk Financial Freedom. He owns 16 rental units and is currently trying to buy something big and fancy right now, like another one. I own 13 rental units. That's a triplex, two duplexes, six single-family homes, and I'm currently under contract on another deal. And we got a question from one of my Instagram followers, who I appreciate you reaching out. Her Instagram handle is Sleek Mayor. I don't think that's her real name, but whatever. She asked me about how to get started investing in real estate when you have no money and you don't think you can get bank lending. Okay, I've got zero money. I have zero money to get a loan from a bank. What can I do? So we're gonna go to Dion first. Dion, if you were in the position with $0 and bad credit or no credit, what would you do towards working to get your first rental property? And how would you go about doing that?
So I'll go first, but I think that the person who asked the question should probably skip past my answer and go to yours, because you're actually going to have something they probably want to hear more than what I'm going to say. So Brandon Turner from Bigger Pockets wrote a book on how to invest in real estate with low or no money down. And in the book, he's very clear to say that this doesn't mean that you have low or no money. It's strategies to invest with low or no of your money. And so my answer is, if the person can't get lending because they don't have any money or they don't have the debt to income ratio, here's the answer they're probably not going to want to hear. You don't. Things are going to break. Garage doors are going to quit. Water heaters are going to break. Everything that you can imagine that's going to go wrong is going to go wrong when you don't have the funds. So step one to get started in real estate is learning how to save. And this doesn't stop when you've been investing 15, 20 years. It doesn't stop after the first couple of deals. I mean, this is something you just get better at as you make more money. Learning how to save doesn't mean eliminating expenses. It means increase your income. Develop a side hustle, work overtime, get a promotion, learn a skill to make yourself more attractive to your employer to earn more money, change companies to get a bigger pay raise than the cost of living raise that a company is probably going to offer. All of the different strategies to get more money coming in, and then resist the urge to spend more money as you make it. That's going to take time. While you're learning how to save, work on your credit score. The higher your credit score, the more attractive you're going to be to lenders to qualify for better lending options. So those first two strategies can happen for a month or a couple of years to get you started. Once you have focused on both of those and you know how to increase your income, decrease your expenses, work on your credit score, you want to talk to a lender to find out what your options are. This is the traditional, conventional, very lazy route that I chose, where all of my properties are from the MLS with a conventional loan. Mike is going to cover probably, hopefully, some strategies where you can get started without doing it the lazy way that I did. But if you can't save to come up with a down payment, how are you going to save? It's going to happen in 15 to 20 years. The property is going to need a roof. And if you can't save when you're not making a lot of money, it's not like you're going to magically become better at saving later when you start making more. Saving isn't something we do once we have more money or more income. Saving is something that we start when we have almost nothing, and we just improve as we make more money. So probably not what you wanted to hear, but add time to the element, learn how to save, work on your credit score, talk to a lender to find out what your options are. I was in a very similar situation, and I was able to reach financial freedom in less than 10 years, even though I found out about $89,000 in bad debt in my name I didn't know existed till the divorce. I was a single parent raising three kids. I got laid out from law enforcement in 2008 because of the recession, and I started teaching people how to drive trucks, making $17 an hour. I didn't have a lot of money to learn how to save. I didn't have a good debt to income ratio. I moved from my house into an apartment and saved for 2 years to get that first down payment for the first house hack. Those 2 years also allowed me to get rental income on my tax returns. If you don't have that as an option, you could do things to increase your income. And I mentioned a few: side hustle, promotion, change companies. Maybe you can start to do a form of house hacking. And house hacking can happen before you even own a house. Most people have a roommate at some point in their life. If you have kids, it might have to be a very selective choice of roommates, of people that you trust. But if you can reduce or eliminate your largest expense, it makes it a lot easier to save for that first investment property.
So I think you're right, Dion. I think this is the truth that a lot of people don't want to hear. Most people who are researching financial freedom that I've come in contact with, most people who are learning about investing in real estate, they're doing it because they don't have a lot of money. They might have been poor their entire lives. They might come from tougher economic backgrounds. And they're doing the right thing, which is they're trying to get educated about finances, and they want to figure out a way to crawl out of the hand that they were dealt when they were born. I was in that situation. I know you were in that situation. So I respect the hustle, the grind, and the goal completely. And the unfortunate news that a lot of people might not want to hear is, yes, sometimes the answer is you need to get a job, work a couple of years, save the down payment, and improve your credit. I've got a video that talks about the 5 things you need to do before you get started investing in real estate so you can invest in real estate. I'll put a link to that video in the description below. But if you want to do it with no credit, if you want to do it with no money, yeah, there's still ways to do it. There are. We're going to talk about that right now. Creative financing, seller financing. There are options that you can do. Now, here's the tricky part. The level of knowledge that you need to be able to understand the complexities of seller financing and creative financing is larger than the level of knowledge and skill you need to use a conventional loan with a 20% down payment. And so you're going to have to front load and learn more and interact with people more and network more to find these deals. They're significantly more difficult to find. It's much easier to go to a bank who wants to lend you money than it is to go to someone who's selling their property who probably doesn't want to own or finance or own or carry, and they just want a big check for their money. So it's going to be few and far between those seller financing opportunities. Now, let me explain what seller financing is. Somebody who owns their property outright, they have all the equity in the property, they want to sell it. Now, if you got a loan to pay them off, they get all their money right there immediately. They could walk away with the 300 grand, whatever it is. Or let's say they don't need all their money. Maybe they don't want to pay the huge tax bill that they would get on 300,000. If you can convince them to sell the property to you, but to sell it to you on terms, hey, can I pay you the 20% down? And can I make monthly payments to you? You as the seller now get to get the benefit of the interest being paid to you instead of the bank. Because we all know when you buy a house for 300,000, you don't actually pay 300,000. By the time you're done paying your bank off 30 years from now, you've paid 500,000 or some ridiculous number like that. Well, that's what you need to educate the seller on. What if you made that money like the bank is? What if you were able to get passive income every month? Now, if you want a higher success rate of actually selling this to somebody, you probably should be focusing on multifamily properties. If you see 2 to 4 unit buildings, those people most likely are real estate investors themselves, or at least they have a better knowledge and understanding of the concepts like seller financing. When you have to educate a homeowner on this, it's just going to be completely Greek and foreign to them. They're not going to understand. And that doesn't mean you can't get seller financing with this individual. You can. It's just going to be harder. So I would probably start with 2 to 4 unit buildings because there's a better chance that they understand the idea of passive income and keeping that long term, thus the seller financing. Now, you still might have to come up with a down payment. And we're talking about how to get started with zero money, zero credit. You can't get a loan. Okay, great, Mike. I got somebody who will accept seller financing. They even accepted 10% down. They'll take it on terms where the deal cash flows properly. This would be a great investment, but I don't have the 10% down. Okay, well, there's still a solution for that. Could you do hard money lending? Yeah, sure. But still, you might even have to come up with a down payment for the hard money lending. If you truly have $0, you've got nothing. Here's what you do with that seller financing deal. And this is why you need to have more knowledge about your market, because you need to be able to assess it and know this is a good deal I've just negotiated. Low money down, great payments. That deal has value. Now you can take that deal and you can bring it to an investor like me or like Dion, because I promise you in the Seattle market right now, where Dion invests the exterior of the Seattle market, Washington State, if you came to Dion and said, I've got a 10% down cash flowing property that the seller agreed to a 30-year amortization at a 3% rate, he's going to say, what now? Oh, really? And you don't want it because you can't afford it? Dion will say, well, I'll take it. And that's where you get to charge him a fee, a finder's fee. And, you know, the finder's fee or the wholesale fee as relative to the market and the cost of houses. I had somebody try to get a $100,000 finder's fee on me for a property in Gary. And I was like, bro, what are you doing? This is like finder's fees in Gary are $5,000, $8,000. Finder's fees in California and Washington, you might get 20 grand because the 20% down payment that Dion would have to pay to normally get this deal could be 100 grand. But if you come to him and say, now you only have to pay 50, but I also want you to pay me 15, you might be able to get $15,000 and it's still a better deal for him than it would have been for him to buy it off the MLS. So long as he can make more money going this way, the people will pay substantial finder's fees. That's why it's important for you as the wholesaler in this scenario to know the market, know values, know what the investor needs to do to make their margins so that you know how to accurately price your margins so that I don't have to have a hard conversation with you via Facebook Messenger and say, look, buddy, I understand you're a new wholesaler, but your reputation matters. You can't charge a $100,000 wholesale fee on a $100,000 property, especially when that property is listed currently on the MLS for $100,000. And when I Google it, it shows that it's for sale for $100,000 and you want to sell it to me for $200,000, you'll look bad. Don't do that. That's the only way that I could say you could get started with $0, because in almost every scenario, whether it's subject to seller financing, owner financing, you're going to have to at least come up with some money for even closing costs, even if it was a few $1,000s. But if you find and structure the deal and you've networked with investors and you can take these two, great structured deal, your network of investors, and marry the two together and say, I got this for you. Can you just pay me a nice little finder's fee? Boom, you just picked up 15 grand. Now you have your down payment for your next deal, and the next one's yours. No credit checks. There was no money needed. All that was required was your cell phone, time, the ability to call, talk, network with people. That's it. Dion, anything else that you want to add before we wrap this video up?
Yeah, I want to add a couple of things just in case we're making assumptions, right? Never make an assumption, you make an ass out of you and umption. Maybe this person has a down payment. Maybe this person has the ability to save. Maybe they're just in a high cost of living area where they don't qualify for the lending that it takes to buy there. So I want to talk about two people who do watch our content and the level of discomfort that they were willing to go through to get what they wanted. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Dave. Dave and his wife and his kid lived with family for a period of time, saved up the down payment, which wouldn't have worked where he was at with family, but he purchased a duplex basically on the other side of the country, works remotely, relocated, bought a duplex, and is now house hacking a duplex because he was willing to live with family to save on housing so he could save the down payment. And he was willing to relocate to where the numbers made sense. The other person is Josh. Josh and his significant other lived in California, high cost of living area, moved to Washington State, got a couple of better jobs, making more money, and have been saving for almost a year now, coming up on that time where they're going to start making offers on properties. They moved to an area where the numbers make sense. The work was better. They were willing to be uncomfortable, literally moving to a state where they almost knew nobody, except we went to lunch. Then we got to meet them at the local Tacoma FI meetups. But these are two people, two sets of people who are getting into real estate by doing what it takes, which is time, sacrifice, dedication, focus. So if that's you, if you do have a down payment, but you can't buy where you're at, do you have to stay there? How uncomfortable are you willing to get on the property ladder? Because once you reach financial freedom and all of the options open of living wherever you want, doing whatever you want, traveling wherever you want to go, you'll look back and not only thank yourself, but understand that it was probably the best course to take.
I think a lot of people underestimate how much work it truly takes to get involved and invested in real estate. The amount of videos I have of me in my patrol car saying I'm working another overtime shift, but because I'm in uniform and on the clock, I can't post those videos to YouTube now. But when I retire and I bombard YouTube with 50 videos of me being like, I'm working another overtime shift, you're going to see just how hard I worked over how many years to do all of the overtime that it took for me to set myself up to be where I'm at today. Don't be afraid of hard work. Don't be afraid of time. It sucks how quickly the months and the years are flying by relative to when I was a little kid. The only thing that moved fast then was summer vacation. Now my son turns 7 in September. I can't even believe it. It's just wild how quickly time flies. Dion says this all the time. He didn't say it now, so I'm going to steal it from him. You're going to be alive in 5 years. So you need to start investing like it. Don't live life with your head under a rock. Don't do it. Work hard, save the money. You need your plan as if you can't find the seller financing deal. So still get the job, save the money, and start building your credit in case you can't find seller financing. But while you're doing that, you're also hunting down seller finance deals. And if one pops up, you can wholesale it. Boom, you just cut ahead 2 or 3 years. But if you don't throw all your eggs into this basket and delay starting your job and credit and all that for 2 years, because now you wasted 2 years. Do both. All right. Appreciate you for being here, Dion. Hopefully this answer was helpful for you, Sleek Mayor, or whatever your real name might be. Appreciate everybody for watching. Leave a comment down below, and we'll catch you next time.